Hello. I have not forgotten about finishing this channel, but now that I'm coming closer and closer to the end of my challenge, I'm not sure if I'm actually going to close down this channel completely. We'll see. What I'm working on, by the way, is an animation for my other channel. I had this stupid little thought where I had to make a drawing specifically for this channel, and I wasn't really getting around to it because I've been working on stuff for this other channel. So I just kept on drawing stuff that wasn't, serious enough for this channel, I guess. Like, it wasn't really full on practice for things that would actually expand my skills. But I realized while I was doing this animation, I haven't done that many animations, so this is expanding my skills too, and it deserves a place here. That is what I think this channel is going to become, is more of one for me to kind of rant with, kind of like a log or a blog, which was basically the intention all the way up until now anyway. So basically me just talking about things that I don't really talk about in my other channel. I think that might be what I end up doing, but if not, then it is what it is. I only have like a few more. Is this the second to last video for the challenge? I only have like a few more videos left for this challenge at least. The whole goal was just to get me to draw more, and I'm technically drawing still. The stick figures aren't really the most, difficult thing, or like really pushing the boundaries of much, but it is fun, especially very fun to get them moving. Ah, I spilled my tea. Shoot. Hold on. I gotta go clean this up. Okay, there we go. So yeah, this channel's probably gonna stay kind of a log or blog. I don't actually understand. What's the difference between a blog and a log? Is a blog just written? Anyway, of things that I'm making, and like kind of a little bit more of my thoughts about stuff. Maybe I'll do a few more edited videos for it, depending on if I decide on some topics. But I'll generally keep this to more artistic type topics. My other channel is all more about technical topics generally, but I don't know, there's probably going to be some cross-pollination between the two of them. I'm just gonna make what I make, I guess. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about a little bit more today. I'm pretty happy with how things are going as far as actually sharing stuff and making stuff. I'm getting better and better at actually putting in some amount of effort, even if it's not a ton. I want to make it even more consistent than it is, so that it's kind of just a habit for me to always be making things. Because this is kind of what got this channel started, was me not doing as much art as I wanted to do, and deciding that we're gonna fix that by, making some sort of project where I have to contribute. I had tried it again, and I had tried it before in the past, which, I mean, I've already gone over this with Instagram accounts and yada yada, some other smaller stuff. But I'm slowly seeing more and more improvement as far as duration goes, for how long I keep on going before, hitting some sort of block or calm, I guess, where I just don't do much. So yeah, building momentum is a good thing. Who knew? I have this habit where I have some notes on my phone where I'll just write out ideas, whether they're like visual ideas, like a snippet of a dream, or maybe some piece of art that I saw that made me think of something, or a concept for a story, maybe a cool sounding word, maybe even a quote from a book. Heaven forbid I read. But yes, it's just, I write down some snippets, never really explaining the full idea even to myself. Usually it's just like one or two words, And the whole point is to help me remember it so that if I come back and read the note, I'll be more likely to remember and recall it. It being like 1 or 2 words isn't obviously as good for remembering as actually writing out what I mean, but it is quicker and a lot easier for somebody like me who doesn't like writing a long blurb every time I have any sort of notion. And I've gone back and looked at it a few times. Some stuff kind of sticks with me as far as like, oh, I still think that would be cool to make. While a lot of it, I'm kind of like, nah, not today. Not for a while, at least. But the point here that I'm trying to make is that over time, I make this laundry list of things that I could do. And it just grows and grows. And then whenever I sit down to do stuff, I don't necessarily always draw from that pool. I just draw from how I feel today, like what I want to do today. So I don't necessarily eat away at that list. So I'm wondering if it's causing a little bit of this problem that I have where I don't seem to consistently progress, where it feels like I have all of these ideas that I haven't executed on, so I've basically already failed. That might sound a little silly, but it's kind of like the pressure of just having this long list of ideas and just not having done anything about them. So if that makes sense at all, then I'm not too sure if this is actually how I feel about it, but it did just occur to me a little bit ago that is possible. I don't think I'm going to do too much about it immediately, because writing down my ideas has always been really good, I think, at least to preserve them somewhat. And it's not like I go back and read these lists very often. But I guess it's something to just bear in mind when you're thinking of stuff to make. If you have already in your head a few different ideas of things to make, to not pressure yourself into thinking you have to do them all. You only have so much time. But yes, before I go, I'm just going to talk a little bit to this thing I made. Obviously not the greatest of all animations that you've probably ever seen, and that's totally fine. I wanted to make this like totally with forward animation. Is that what it's called? A straightforward animation? Where you basically don't plan any of the intermediate poses, and you just kind of bulldoze straight forward and animate the entire thing through. It gives it a much more natural, quote unquote, feel to hear other people say it, but usually that's when it's done like properly. So it doesn't look terrible. It does move, and that's very fun. I definitely had to redo some stuff. You probably saw it where they were falling way too close, and I had to completely change the arc for a whole segment of frames. And that's the downside with this method, is that since you're not planning the poses as rigidly, you can end up in bad spots. So there's definitely a lot of spots where it looks really weird. And not just because they're stick figures, but because I didn't really plan the pose. And since I'm working on the habit of not being a perfectionist, I decided before I started this that I was not going to go back and fix a ton of the poses. I was just going to let it be as is. And, you know, what come out of it. Like, that's just what it's going to be. And this attitude has been helping me tremendously with just making things in general and feeling good about the stuff I make, because completing stuff feels good. Who knew? And when you don't complete stuff, it adds to that burden of like, that's just one more project I failed. Not all of the things you make have to look good, and some of the stuff you think are going to look bad might look better than you thought. So learning that the hard way. I hope you enjoyed if you made it this far. Hope you have a good one. Peace.